Creating a gatefold card is quick and easy because your Score Pal already has the marks to show you exactly where to score to create this interesting way to fold a card. First, I'm going to show you how to score and fold the card, and then I'm going to show you how I embellished mine using supplies from the Spring Mix Stamp TV kit. Here are the tools and products you'll need to complete this project. First, you're going to need some stamps from the Stamp TV kit, and I have the circle stamp with the border. I have the little bird, and then I have a couple of greetings. And the card that I'm going to make is a card that I'm going to give to somebody for a graduation coming up. So I chose, the first phrase is, "A little bird told me," and then for inside the card it's going to say, "Congratulations are in order." And I need a Stamp-A-Majig for perfect stamp positioning. I'm going to use a black Memento ink pad, and then I have some of the pattern papers and cardstock from the new Spring Mix kit, and 2 Nestabilities dies. The circle, which perfectly fits this stamp, so that when I cut it out, it'll be a perfect border around it. And then I'm using the petite scalloped circle for the outside to layer and highlight the outside of my image. Then, of course, you're going to need a Score Pal, so let me get that into the scene here. As you can see, the top of the Score Pal, right next to the number 2, and just right before the 6.5-inch mark, you'll see 2 little raised dots. Those are the 2 dots that once you take an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock and cut it in half, and then you take that half piece of cardstock and put it up against the top of the Score Pal, those 2 spots, if you score on those 2 lines, you're going to get a perfect gatefold card. So I'm going to start with the first one here. I'm scoring some of our lemon drop cardstock. And then here on that second dot, there. Now, when I fold on both of those lines, that is the perfect gatefold right in the center. Perfectly, they meet perfectly. Isn't that so creative? I love that Score Pal did that. Okay, and then you can take your scoring tool and you can just run it down the fold to really, really make that line nice and crisp. Like that. Okay. So now I have my folded card, and I've cut a few pieces of cardstock and pattern paper that I'm going to layer and upholster both of what I like to call the doors of the card. Now I've created 2 layered panels, and these panels are going to go over the doors of my gatefold card. So I'm going to take a little bit of glue glider onto those panels, and I'm going to line them up right on my doors. There's one. And here is the other. And now you can see I've got my 2 panels right there. Now, the next step is I'm going to stamp my inside greeting. And I want that to be perfectly straight, so I am going to use my Stamp-A-Majig to set it up. So first I'm going to make my index sheet and stamp that. And then I'm going to line it up perfectly in the center of the card. Congratulations are in order. And stamp it inside the card. There we go. So now the next step is to create my little bird focal image. And I'm going to do that first by taking a piece of white cardstock, and I'm going to stamp the border onto that white piece of cardstock. You're going to love how useful these borders are for so many different projects. Okay, so now I have my border. My next step is I'm going to make the index sheet for my bird using the Stamp-A-Majig. Let me ink up the bird because I want that bird right in the center of the circle. And now I'm going to lay him right on top there. See how he perfectly fits in there? All of the stamps in the Spring Mix stamp set, with the exception of one really big one, will all fit inside either the circle border image or the oval border image. Okay, and now, oops, I almost did it. Make sure I have the stamp turned the right direction. And there's my bird inside. Okay, and my last part of this is to make sure that my little words, "a little bird told me," are going to fit right into his little sign that he's holding. So I'm going to create my image on my imaging sheet and then place it perfectly into the center. Reposition my tool and stamp my greeting. There. A little birdie told me. Now the next step is to cut this little guy out using the nestabilities. So I'm going to grab my Cuttlebug and position this so that you can see it. Now it doesn't matter which plate is on top and which plate is on the bottom. I'm just going to put my C plate on the bottom. As you can see, I finally got some new plates. I used my Cuttlebug so much that my plates were finally warped and I just needed to get some new ones. And now I'm going to position this so that the stitched line is perfectly lined up with the border of the inside of the Nestabilities dies. This is what's so neat about these dies, the fact that you can stamp anything you want and then you can position it exactly in the center of what you want to cut. Just love that. And now I'm going to place my B plate on top and cut. There we go. And now you can see he's perfectly in the center. Now I want to make the outside scallop to go on the outside, and I'm going to do that with some chocolate brown cardstock. I'm going to use the same layout here. This A plate first, then the C plate, and then the chocolate brown. I'm going to put my Nestabilities scallop, blade side down. There's the blade, blade side down. B plate on top, and cut. Now that I've cut my focal image circle and my scalloped background, the next step would be to color the little bird any way you want and then to attach these two pieces together. I've already done that here, so here's my finished one. And now let me show you exactly how you attach this piece to the front of your card to make sure that it opens and it looks perfect when it's closed. So what you're going to do here is you're going to flip this over and you're only going to tape half of this piece. So now I have half of it taped on the back, and I'm going to close the card and position it right in the center of the card, like that. Oh, let me just move that over just a hair. There. Okay. Now here's the way the card project looks closed. You have these two beautiful panels that look like two doors that are ready to open and your focal image in the center. And then when you open it, that's what it looks like when it's opened. And you can place a gift card inside or do whatever you'd like. Fancy folds are fun and make your cards even more interesting. And creating a gatefold card is so easy when you use the Score Pal.